Hello, and welcome to another day on the channel. My name is RNJesus, and today we'll be doing some historic Artisan as part of the midweek magic that I weekly do. So, if you're not familiar with Artisan, it means that for MTG Arena, any card that's common or uncommon, you're allowed to play, but no rares and no mythics. So it's a very interesting kind of deck building constraint. So today we're going to be doing an Artisan's Ninja deck. This deck is basically get a unblockable creature that either has flying or unblockable, and then start ninjutsuing stuff into play, drawing cards, making mana, and just beating down your opponent with a swarm. So, as key cards of the deck, there's Ingenious Infiltrator. This says, whenever a ninja you control deals common damage to a player, draw a card, and has ninjutsu for a blue and black. We're mostly going to ninjutsu this card, and because our entire deck is nearly ninjas, except for Fairy Seer, this is basically whenever a creature deals common damage to a player, draw a card. There's also Network Disruptor as well, but it's sort of a ninja. It's a rogue, but which triggers Prosperous Thief, which we'll talk about now. Prosperous Thief says whenever one or more ninjas or rogues you control deal common damage to a player, create a treasure token. This is great for us because it helps spew out our hand, especially the 1-drops that we ninjutsu back. And on turn 1, we can play like a Fairy Seer, turn 2, Prosperous Thief, create treasure, then recast Fairy Seer. For turn 3, we can ninjutsu and keep on doing that, so it's amazing with our ninja creatures. We also have Silver for a Master, which is a board pump except for Fairy Seer. And also makes ninjutsu abilities for Ninja the Deep Hour and Prosperous Thief 1 cheaper. So they both only cost 1 mana instead. We also have Ninja the Deep Hour, which whenever it deals combat damage to player, draw a card. So it's a little watered down Ingenious Infiltrator, but it is super popular in Pauper. And in mono blue or in blue-black fairies, it is amazing. We also are running Moon Circuit Hacker as a 1-mana ninjutsu, and deals common damage to player. If it enters the battlefield this turn, draw a card. Otherwise, draw a card, discard a card. So this is just a cheap way to draw, like, cantrip itself, and anyone who's played Kamigawa Limited is pretty familiar with this card. It's like a watered-down Ninja the Deep Hour, and it's pretty strong. And for our enablers, we're running 4 Changeling Outcasts, which are ninjas that can't block and can't be blocked, so it works pretty well. We also have 4 Fairy Seers that help get the card advantage and like card selection going. And since we can bounce it back multiple times, we can scry a ton and look through a lot of our deck. And we have Network Disruptors that enter the battlefield where we can tap down a permanent. That way we can swing in easier. We're also running a split even mana base, even though our mana base is a little leaning towards the blue side. We don't really have the greatest fixing in Artisan because we don't have access to like rares or for like good lands. So we have to make do with Dismal Backwaters. And we don't really want to run too many tap lands, just for the fact that we want to like turn 1, turn 2 stuff. So that is the deck. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I was thinking of playing Curious Obsessions and Curiosity, but the fact that we're going to keep bouncing our creatures back over and over made the idea not as good, just because the enchantment's going to fall off a lot, so it's not going to be really worth the card. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get into the games and see how the deck does. Alright, we are on the draw here against Rufus, and this looks like a fine hand. Turn 1 Fairy Seer, turn 2 Ingenious Infiltrator. I like that. We will lead off with a Fairy Seer. We'll probably look for some more ninja stuff as we see a Prosperous Thief. I don't think we need a second cast down just for the fact that we already have 1 and Network Disruptor. They cast a Land War Elf, and miss a land drop. Yikes for them. Well, we'll lead off swinging, and let's ninjutsu in the Prosperous Thief. That way we can recast our Fairy Seer. And next turn we can, like, if they play a big creature, we can play Island, cast Network Disruptor, we'll bottom both lands, and ninjutsu in Ingenious Infiltrator. Yeah, that seems pretty good. We're bottoming both lands since we don't really want any more lands from here on out. Druid of the Cowl, that's fine. Actually, let's play land. Actually, move to combat, swing with everything. They can't really block because they're pretty stuck on mana. We will ninjutsu in the Ingenious Infiltrator. Draw 2 cards. There's a rogue. That's a ninja. Perfect. I keep forgetting. So we will draw 2 cards. Prosperous Thief and Moon-Circuit Hacker. Both very good. We will play an island and cast a Fairy Seer. Scry 2. Bottom. With a Fatal Push in hand, we'll bottom both. And we'll cast Fatal Push on the Druid of the Cowl. That way we can prevent them from having mana, since they're stuck on only 1 land. Though they do hit a mountain, so they're back up to 3 mana. They have a Rabid Bite. Well, that's annoying. But we still have our Prosperous Thief and Ingenious Infiltrator. So we are all but happy here. We'll just hardcast Prosperous Thief here. Swing with both of these. Either of them get in, we create 2 treasures. But now we create 2 treasures and draw 2 cards. We will play a Dismal Backwater, and we'll just pass the turn. If we really need to, we can cast down something big they play. Or if they have like a Pump Rabid Bite effect, maybe like Clear Shot or something, we can cast down. New Horizons. Sure thing. Interesting they didn't put on the mountain. That way they can have something that... Yeah, they just concede. But as I was saying, they could put on the mountain and have better mana. But they just concede because of missing lands. And we just keep tempoing them out. GG's opponent. On to the next game. Alright, we are here, and this hand looks decent. Tap blue land is not the greatest, but we'll have to make do with it. Yeah, we'll lead off with the Dismal Backwater, pass turn. Next turn we can Fairy Seer, Changeling, Outcast. Or if we need to, cast a Fatal Push. And we're definitely going to lead off with the Fairy Seer over the Changeling Outcast, just for the fact that we're pretty restricted on blue mana right now, so using our blue mana effectively is important. They play Plains, looks like some Boros stuff. Boros Heroes, I like it. So killing their creatures is of the utmost importance. So we'll cast a Fairy Seer. Let's try and search for a removal spell as we find a cast down and a land. We'll keep both. Cast a push and pass the turn. Yep, so we just have to keep them off of creatures. That's our best bet against heroes. I have a hero deck myself in Pauper and in Explorer, and having your creatures die time after time is the worst thing to happen when playing it. Unless your hand's full of creatures, which then these are just like medium creatures. So either way, just keeping their creatures off the battlefield is your best bet. They cast a 10th District Legionnaire, and with only red mana up, I am gonna assume that they have no way to protect 10th District Legionnaire, so cast down should do it. Do they have like a Reckless Rage? They might. We will move to combat and swing for 1 in Ninjutsu and Moon-Circuit Hacker. That way we get to draw a card. They might have a removal spell here. Maybe like a shock or something. Reckless Rage. Oh, that would have been a reason to play our land first. Yikes. I mean, we still would have lost our creature either way, since it still has a valid target. It's just missing one of its targets, so... Oh well. They don't have a creature here, which is very good for us. We'll lead off with Fairy Seer. They definitely have a removal spell. We'll keep an Ingenious Infiltrator, since that looks amazing here. We'll cast a Changeling Outcast. And the Silver Fur Master. Pass the turn. Now we can start drawing some cards. Changeling Outcast is unblockable. And we can use Network Disruptor to tap a creature down if they play some sort of creature. They cycle Defiant Strike. Play a Crag and pass the turn. We'll swing with everything and Ninjutsu in Ingenious Infiltrator. Draw 3 cards. Don't mind if I do. Nom 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 nom. You are already doomed, opponent. Doomed. We'll bottom both. And they concede. Just the card selection from Fairy Seer and the card draw from the Ingenious Infiltrator really pushed us over the edge there. On to the next game. Alright, we're on the draw against the Redeemed, and this looks like a fine hand. We'll lead off with the Fairy Seer just because the Scry, and we'd rather bounce that back to hand rather than the Outcast. So we'll play a Fairy Seer. Scry 2, we'll bottom the land, but keep the Thief. Because Thieves and multiples get really strong really fast. They play a Black Source and pass. We'll swing for 1, and Ninjutsu in Prosperous Thief. Create a treasure. Cast a Fairy Seer. Scry 2. Yeah, we'll keep 1 on top. Nah, let's bottom both. We don't really want more lands. Like, we'll draw them by their own will. They're just playing black and passing the turn. We'll play a land, swing. And we'll Ninjutsu in a second Prosperous Thief. Create some more treasures. Cast a Changeling Outcast into a Fairy Seer. Scribe it more. With double cast down, and I don't think we need Fatal Push or Network Disruptor. More Ingenious Infiltrators would be amazing. They play a red source. Vampire's Vengeance. Ouch. Yikes, I was not expecting a red and Vampire's Vengeance out of nowhere. Well, move combat. Swing for 1 and Ninjutsu in Infiltrator, recast Infiltrator. Luckily, our Changeling Outcast is a Changeling, so it survives the Vampire's Vengeance. Because it's not only a ninja, it's a vampire. So, Ingenious Infiltrator, we draw a card instead of the 4 cards it was going to be. Or 5 cards, actually. Oh well. Changeling Outcast. And we'll also run out the second Changeling Outcast because it doesn't die to another Vampire's Vengeance. And it's another card with Ingenious Infiltrator. And if they have like a creature that they might try and block with, we have Cast Down. So what you got, Opie? You had 1 board wipe. It hurt a lot, but you had it. What do you have now? The blood token they get is really insignificant unless they have some artifact synergy. Speaking of which, so it looks like to be like a blood vampire kind of style deck. Another Ingenious Infiltrator. Is that better than Cast Down Fairy Seer? No, I don't think it is. Cast down. And draw 3 cards. Sure, we could have drawn 4 cards by Ingenious Infiltrating. But they concede anyway. GG's opponent, GG's. On to the next game. Alright, we are on the play against Token Squirrel, and with 1 land, we're going to have to mulligan. This is missing black. But on the play helps, so we'll keep in bottom Silver Fur Master since we don't have black to use it. Sure, it is like a board pump at the moment, but we just can't use it at the moment. So, or we can't use it, so what's the point? We'd rather not have it rotting in our hand. Lead off with Network Disruptor. And pass the turn. So what kind of deck are you playing? Now hear me out. Teamer Dragons. They have the dragon sleeves. Nope, just a reinforced Ronin. Glad that can't block our ninja, the Deep Hour. Or our Prosperous Thief. Let's go with Prosperous Thief. That way we can recast Network Disruptor. Recast Network Disruptor. Tap you. Pass the turn. So, do you have a burn spell? This definitely looks like mono red aggro. Luckily, Lightning Bolt is not one of the cards that they could possibly play. An Ingenious Infiltrator. Not bad. I raise you 1 Ninja the Deep Hour, OP. Play Network Disruptor. Pass the turn. Hopefully we draw Black Source for this Ingenious Infiltrator. And then we can start drawing cards like crazy. If they like just cast Reinforce Ronin. Or just cast Tawashi Songshaper. Yeah, this is fine by me. That ain't a Black Source, sadly. We'll put a stop at end of combat just in case we want to ninjutsu something into play. Trigger, we draw a card. Nope. And we'll play Dismal Backwater, gain a life, and pass the turn. Again, Ingenious Infiltrator doesn't care about rogues, so these things aren't the greatest. And they play a Patchwork Automaton, so they're more like artifacts than like an aggro deck. As a Frostbite that. Move to combat, swing for 2. Injitsu in the Infiltrator. Draw a card. Another Infiltrator. Well, well, well. Don't mind if I do. We will bottom both. We don't really want either of those. We want some more ninjas. And since I doubt red has any flying, we can just run out the Network Disruptor. And pass the turn. They just cast Reinforced Ronin. Experimental Synthesizer. They probably should have let off with Synthesizer in case they had a 3-drop or something. But nope, just a Frostbite. That can kill our Infiltrator. Dang it. No, my card. My cards. This is a pretty nice looking mono red aggro deck. We will chump block. Hopefully we draw something. Fairy Seer is fine. Ninjutsu. Draw a card. It's a swamp. Cast Fairy Seer. Changeling Outcast. Doesn't really do it. Now it is Moon Circuit. We need like another Ingenious Infiltrator. Cast down is too slow at the moment. Same with Silver Fur. Yeah, we'll just pass. Because we're going to have to like chump block Patchwork, chump block Twoshi. And take 3, go down to 3. So yeah, like another Ingenious Infiltrator is going to be like our only hope to draw out of this. Some well-timed early removal, plus missing black early really hurt. Oh wait, yeah, Reinforcement also says we go down to 1. Hopefully no Kami Flares. Just a land off the top. Balance the Reinforcement back. Silver for Master. Well, we'll draw a card at least. Huh, they don't block. This gives us a chance, maybe? They go down to 1. We draw a Changeling Outcast and a land. Nope, never mind. Network Disruptor. Changeling Outcast, but it isn't enough. GG's, you out-aggroed us, and you live at 1 while we die at 1. Ooh. We're here against Nicholas Rudisky, and no blue mana, so we're going to have to mulligan. This is better. We will bottom the Moon Circuit Hacker. We have Ingenious Infiltrator for cards. We'll lead off with a Changeling Outcast. Pass the turn. Next return, we'll Prosperous Thief. Looks like they're a mono green deck. Swing for 1. Ninjutsu in Thief. What could be holding a priority for them? A pump spell? No. They just concede. Wow. That's strange. I guess we just had too much powerful stuff. Yeah, that's what it was. We were too powerful. On to the next game. This hand is missing black. Mulligan. This is better. We'll bottom Cast Down since it's more expensive. And we have Prosperous Thief to combo with Fatal Push. They play a Blossoming Sands. And we'll actually lead off with the Fairy Seer, just for the fact that we have Moon Circuit Hacker in hand. And the Fairy Seer can help us hit a untapped land. So the plan was play Fairy Seer, scry to land. If we missed a land, we can always go with the Moon Circuit. But they play a Predatory Sliver. That's concerning. Yeah. Looks like they're Slivers. Definitely worrisome. We will Ninjutsu in a Prosperous Thief. Create a treasure. And we'll go Fairy Seer. That way we can Ninjutsu next turn. We will bottom Bolt since we have Infiltrator. So we don't really need anything else from there. They might have some Changelings to help support this Sliver archetype, but I'm not really sure if there are enough Slivers for Sliver Tribal. Another Predatory Sliver, or, okay, a Sentinel Sliver. Well, that's annoying. Let's Fatal Push Predatory Sliver. Swing for 1. Ninjutsu in Moon Circuit. Trigger, create treasure, draw a card. It is a swamp. We'll play Dismal Backwater, gain a life. Cast Fairy Seer once more. Scry 2. Another Prosperous Thief. Don't mind if I do. They play a Blossoming Sands. And what sliver do you have now? Lava Belly Sliver. Well, that's gonna be annoying. Just whenever they enter the battlefield, drain me for 1. Luckily, it can't target our creatures, so that's a good thing. We'll take 2. We'll play land, move to combat, swing with everything but the Prosperous Thief. Because it will surely be traded off for like a Sentinel Sliver or something. But Moon Circuit, on the other hand, will not. So instead, we'll ninjutsu Prosperous Thief there. And Ingenious there. Draw 2 cards, create 2 treasures. Draw, draw. We will cast a Fairy Seer. Scry 2. And we'll just pass the turn. Fatal Push is instant, and we can have Revolt ready at all times with the treasure. They cast a Blur Sliver. That's frightening, but we'll just make sure to sacrifice this. I think, yeah, just Fatal Push the Lava Belly. They can have haste. Sure. Striking Sliver, also fine. Vigilance, First Strike, Haste, very scary, but ultimately fine. Move to combat, swing for 1. Ninjutsu in an Ingenious Infiltrator. Draw 2 cards, create 2 treasures. Play a Swamp. Cast Changeling Outcast. Cast Fairy Seer. Scry 2. Network Disruptors we'll put on the bottom. And we will cast another Fairy Seer. We'll keep a Fatal Push on top, since we want as much removal against Slivers as possible. Each piece we take apart from it makes all the rest of their deck worse. Especially Blur Sliver, that one's really scary. Hopefully no predatory slivers. They have a Tempered Sliver instead, and an Enduring Sliver. So all their creatures now have Outlast. But that doesn't do too much. They just pass. So we'll move to combat. Swing, swing, swing. They can't block anything. Ninjutsu Moon Circuit. Ninjutsu Moon Circuit. Draw 6 cards. Create 2 treasures. Yeah, that's just a few triggers, right? Sorry, 8 cards, not 6, because Moon Circuit entered the battlefield this turn. Just a few triggers. Nothing too over the top, right? I love magic. Removal. Just what we were looking for. So, Fatal Push that. And they concede. GG's. That was just a few triggers. Nothing too much. On to the next game. This hand is on the draw, but we'll keep. Turn 1 Fairy Seer, turn 2 Moon Circuit, Fairy Seer. Actually, we might do Ninja the Deep Hour, depends on what they do. Bottom both, since we can't cast either. I love mana problems. Don't you? Like, sometimes you can have the most perfect hand, but if you can't cast your spells, what's the point? Teamer Dragons. Wasn't I talking about this earlier in the video? I was talking about this earlier in the video. I was definitely talking about Teamer Dragons. And boy, would I love to see it. Teamer Dragons, Teamer Dragons, Teamer Dragons. We'll bottom the land, even though we do need one, because we're looking for specifically a black land. If it was if it was like a swamp, we would have kept it. But we'll bottom it in favor of trying to find another black source for infiltrator purposes. And Fatal Push. Another Dragon Lord Servant, but they're missing lands, which is really good. Because dragons are typically pretty expensive. They swing and pass. Dismal Backwater. Just the land we were looking for. Not really. But we need some sort of black source, and this is better than none. Play Dismal Backwater, pass the turn. We don't have any ninjutsu or ninja enablers at the moment on board. And hopefully they don't do anything too scary. Okay, Dragon's Fire. That's fine. A little annoying, but fine. Oh, they're letting us ninjutsu. That is surprising. Do we get our Ingenious Infiltrator? Let's get Ingenious. But we might want the black. Nah. Let's Ingenious. Draw a card. A Ninja of the Deep Hour. We'll cast the Fairy Seer. Scry 2. We'll keep the Swamp. Bottom the cast down. Play Dismal Backwater, gain a life, and pass the turn. No land, please. Just a Scaled Nurturer. I'm not sure which one's scarier, the Dragon Lord's Servant or the Scaled Nurturer. I think we kill the Servant just for the fact that it can block our Infiltrator, while the Scaled Nurturer can't. Land, move to combat, swing. They don't block? Who likes cards? I know I do. Sure, I'll draw normal 4 cards. Remember, this is only commons and uncommons. I love ninjas. Let's get some enablers out there. Fairy Seer. We'll bottom a Fatal Push. Into another Disruptor. Or a Disruptor. And we will discard Moon Circuit. Actually, we'll bottom it into the Deep Hour. Moon Circuit's cheaper, and we want to try and dump out our hand as soon as possible. Yeah, looking pretty good. They cast a Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind. That's worrying. And they cast a Fearsome Whelp. Yikes. Land. Silver Fur Master cast. Now they can't really block any of my stuff. We'll swing with everything. If they want to trade Fairy Seer for Fearsome Whelp, I am more than happy to oblige. But they don't. So this might just mean that they're dead. Yeah, I think they're just dead now. GG's. Yeah, we just accrued way too much card advantage there. Even with missing black for a few turns. We'll play one more game. Yeah, one more game sounds good. We're on the draw. This hand looks keepable because we have black mana in the form of Prosperous Thief. Network Disruptor. Tap thy black land. No disfigures for you. They cast an... Hey! That blocks my stuff. Rude. They're so mean. Why would they ever have a flyer? Who plays flyers these days besides, you know, ninjas or flyer decks? We'll just cast a Changeling Outcast instead of casting a Prosperous Thief, just so we can start creating some treasures sooner rather than... Oh, so a sacrifice deck with Bastion of Remembrance. Let's get our mana going. Bounce this back to hand. Create a treasure. Changing Outcast. Pass the turn. Do they have a second Bastion? Yeah, Blood Artist is legal, so that's actually a scary card that we might have to face. Speaking of the devil, speaking of both devils, all of the devils, We'll cast that one of them down real quick. We're going to take 3 damage from this. I love pain. It's so always fun. At least to be giving. We will ninjutsu in Ingenious Infiltrator. Start drawing some cards. We'll create a treasure. Draw a card. If we draw a swamp, we can cast Outcast. But they drain. We'll just sacrifice the treasure to cast Outcast. Gain a life. Pass the turn. We need to find more removal for Blood Artist before that gets out of hand. And fast. Like, they Deadly Dispute, sacrifice, drain me for 2. Yeah, 5 more creature deaths, and game over for me. Do they have, like, a removal spell? Fatal Push. Yep. Well, that stops our treasure production. And Cursebound Witch. Sure thing, bub. We'll just cast Silver Fur Master. Move to combat. Swing. And we'll ninjutsu in the Infiltrator. Do they have another... Do they have, like, Village Rites? Or another Deadly Dispute? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Although it is painful, they draw a card from the Cursebound Witch. We draw 2 cards. Dismal Backwater gains me a life. That's pretty good. Hopefully we can beat him down in time. Torment of Scarabs. Well, guess we're discarding cards. Eye Twitch. Discard a card. Ninja the Deep Hour Gun. Another Prosperous Thief. Well, well, well. Don't mind if I do. We'll cast a Network Disruptor. Tap the Eye Twitch. Hard cast a Prosperous Thief. That we can create a treasure at least. Prosperous Thief is probably the only ninja where most of the time I'm going to hard cast. They take some of the damage. We draw 4 cards and create some treasures. Or a treasure. They do drain us for 2. Draw, 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 Fatal Push. Yeah, let's go! Called it! I am a genius! Fatal Push that. Land, Changeling Outcast, Fairy Seer. Now our board is looking pretty strong. Another Prosperous Thief to help cast all the spells that we're going to be casting. Don't mind if I do. Another Bastion of Remembrance. Is that just game? No, we're just going to have to take the damage when they swing with Eye Twitch. And discard a card. Ninja. Cast Silver Fur Master. Move to combat. We're going to have to swing with everything since we're going to be dead on their turn. We'll ninjutsu. Is this lethal? I'm not really sure. 5 damage off of lethal. Dang. That is a lot of triggers. And so are theirs. Yeah. Double Blood Artist, double Bastion really hurt us there. Well, we can't end on a loss. We have to play one more game. On to the next one. Here we are against Kurowan. This hand's looking pretty good. Turn 1 Outcast, turn 2 Thief. They're a Ruin Crab, which leads to a mill deck, so that's going to be scary. But the kitten's so innocent. Who could ever hurt this kitten? They pass, land, swing, ninjutsu in the Prosperous Thief. Create a treasure. Cast a Changeling Outcast. And pass the turn. It might be like blue-black mill, missing black for like Drowned Lock and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that was. I think that was a cheeky win. No, we're not ending it there. That was just way too fast. On to the next game. Alright, this hand looks pretty decent. Turn 1, Changeling Outcast. Yeah, I like that. Turn 1, Changeling Outcast. If we draw blue swords, this is better anyway, and we can hold up Fatal Push turn 2. Yeah, I like that. Plus, we get to hold our Network Disruptor in case we want to use it to tap down something. They just pass. We'll play Dismal Backwater. Gain a life. Deal 1 damage to them. Swing. And pass the turn. Yep, just pass the turn. They play another island. Is this like a starter deck or something? These are starter deck islands and a starter deck card. I mean, I don't doubt its power, but it's interesting. Draw an island. Perfect. Land. Move to combat. Swing for 1. Ninjutsu in Ingenious Infiltrator. Draw a card. Cast a Changeling Outcast. Pass the turn. Waterkin Shaman. This is interesting. I guess this might be like someone who's just started playing Magic and had this deck on hand. They might have like a Water Knot or something. Just another Waterkin Shaman? Sure. Can't block well, so I'm fine with that. Island. Silver Fur Master. And we can ninjutsu the Deep Hour, bounce back, and still cast the Changeling Outcast because Silver Fur Master makes it cheaper to ninjutsu. I don't believe there are any like +1/+1 tricks in blue. They might have a bounce spell though. Yeah, Unsummon, also from the Arena starter deck. Hey, I was gonna ninjutsu stuff. Not have to ninjutsu Moon Circuit. Bah. Rude. You deserve no mercy from my hands. Die to the hacker. Draw 3 cards. Don't mind if I do. Land, cast down, and Fatal Push. Cast an Outcast. Pass the turn. They play a Water Weird. Now that is not from the starter deck. Also a very weird card, as the name says. We'll probably just like tap that down with Network Disruptor for a turn. Or just cast down it. Either works. Play land. Silver Fur Master. Let's go with Cast Down since we have the mana. Swing with everything. If they want to trade with Moonstruck Hacker, I am fine by that. We don't really care for Moonstruck anymore. They block there. Ninjutsu in Ninja. Draw 3 cards. Sure thing. I love refilling my hand every time I deal combat damage to them. Isn't Magic so fun? Where every game is fair in its own right. We have the same amount of lands. We've played the same amount of creatures, probably. They play a Rhyme Shield Frost Giant. Well, we'll tap it down. With a Network Disruptor. We'll pay the 3 ward. And swing for lethal. GG's. GG's. Well, that's a great way to end the game. Or end the video. So, looking back on the deck, maybe adding a bit more blue might be helpful to the deck as a way to cast our more blue spells. And we have Prosperous Thief that can help mana fix. Maybe adding a bit more removal. Moonstruck Hacker is a little questionable in the deck just because after the first time you ninjutsu it in, it doesn't do much else. There are also some good ninjas as well that can be added if you like. Like there is Skull Snatcher, that's Graveyard Hate. There's Throat Seeker that gives lifelink to unblocked ninjas, which is, I considered it, but I decided against it just because we'd rather be proactive in ninjutsuing stuff and doing all that shenanigans rather than casting a Throat Seeker and gaining life. Plus, we're the aggro deck. Even though Throat Seeker would have been good against other aggro decks. Moon Snare Specialist, also pretty good as a tempo play. Moonblade Shinobi, fine, but yeah. If there are any other changes you would make, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And I wish you all the best rest of your day. And I hope you enjoyed the content. Peace out.